Eru, I see you. Die hard. Trap. We gonna do this one the right way. We in here forever. Yeah. Die hard. Homie, die hard. You can check the swag, he the realest by far. Swimming in that blue and orange, he the lifeguard. Yeah, he been through pain, at least he got some nice scars. He can smell the trophy, yeah, he need it back to back. Represent himself, his own name is on his back. 10 toes down, try to stop him, he come back. Bandwagon hoppers, he will knock you off your tracks. You ain't saying nothing, Nero been here from the start. He been working in the lab to take his team and make it art. See him going over film to help him build and make him smart. He will tell you how he feels because he's real and he got heart. He will never fade away, he will never change his face. Everybody picking faves and he's feeling out of place. Cause he is for the team and he always rep the squad. Like that Christmas movie, he gon' always die hard. City on my back. They ask me what's my name and it's on my back. I'm just speaking facts. We got big dreams, we ain't looking back. We be really die hard, yeah, that's a fact. We be really die hard, ain't no going back. Make the whole crowd rise like a thermostat. Fourth quarter, I'm the killer that's gonna murder that.
Peace stars, what's up? It's your boy Eru, host of the Knicks podcast. We had a shotgun podcast. Let's do it. Gunshots in the place, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, I just want to talk about this TNT stuff, man, because they're kind of disrespecting the game, and that's where I'm getting up with this whole thing here. I feel like nobody's really saying nothing about it. They're just kind of just talking about it and not really giving the true analysis, what I think that people should be saying about this whole thing. So for those that don't know, we can get right into it. Let me because this is shotgun podcast kind of thing here, so I'm trying to get it popping here. So let's let me see if I can get this going here, because they're not really cooperating with me here as far as the pictures is concerned. So there you go, finally got myself together. So let's get this thing going. Whoa. I think I lost it. Anyway, just share it, just get it over with here. So anyway, this is what I'm getting at. The TNT guys here, so when it comes to their show, they speak from a place where like on their high horse kind of. These guys are like former all stars, they're former Hall of Famers, they're former basketball players. These guys were team leaders to their squads. So this is what I'm trying to isolate the picture, but it's not working for me. But anyway, these guys here that you see on the screen, these guys are icons. Whether you're talking about Shaq, one of the most dominant basketball players that ever played a game. You're talking about Charles Barkley, is one of like the greatest power forwards that ever played a game. But listening to them talk about the game, they talk about it in such a way where they're disregarding like their teammates. So in one of the clips here, they were talking about Kendrick Perkins that he can't he only scored 5 points per game. How dare he speak up and say anything about say anything? How could somebody that average 5 points a game say anything to Charles Barkley? So I mean, what the problem I have with that is that the reason why Charles Barkley never won a championship is because he didn't trust his teammates. He didn't have those guys that can give you 5 points per game, but actually impact winning. Kendrick Perkins wasn't the greatest center in the NBA, but he did just enough to play defense, rebound, and fill in whatever role that he needed to fill in order to get those Celtics to that championship thing. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Kendrick Perkins was a starting center for the Celtics. Even if he wasn't, you know what I'm saying, he played an integral role for them to help them to get that championship. He helped play defense against the opposition, whatever. So he played an important part. Even though they had LeBron, even though they had Wade, and those guys, you need the little guys in order to get you to that next level. Once again, Shaq and these guys, they always, and especially Kenny Smith, they always talking about who's the best player on the opposite team. Early in the season, because nobody here watches Knicks games. Let's keep it a buck. There's 30 teams in the NBA. These guys, period, are just showing up to the studio, and they're just getting a briefing, and then they're going on live and they're just going crazy. So somebody will look at my podcast and say, "Look at this guy. He's not ready. He's coming in hot." He doesn't have no graphics or nothing like that. But these guys legit probably just come out their house, drive to the studio, put whatever clothes they tell them to put on. Somebody's in their ear talking. They have a briefing or whatever, and they're reading off a teleprompter, and they're being asked to give their opinion about games that they didn't watch. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big problem that I have. But just back to what I'm trying to say here. This guy, Charles Barkley, like I said, never won a championship. He can't. He left Philadelphia because they didn't give him enough help, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But if you look back at those times, Charles Barkley wasn't really utilizing his team the way that he should have. He went to Phoenix and figured out that he needed to use Dan Marley and those guys. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't have that extra guy to help him get to where he needed to go. And it wasn't. It's not like today where all you got to do is get like whatever free agent superstar is available, or you make a blockbuster trade where you trade half of your team just to get that one person to go play with Barkley. These guys talk badly about those eras. They talk badly about Durant, but if they were in this era, they would be just like Durant and stuff like that, begging for another superstar to come help them play. Because in reality, these guys can hold their own space, but they cannot win without help around them. You know what I'm saying? They cannot win without superstar help around them. Charles Barkley always complained that Michael Jordan had Scottie Pippen. If he had Scottie Pippen, he would have won 10 championships, which is not true. Because like I said, if you look at the tape of these guys' career, these guys cannot win. They didn't know how to play off their teammates. You know what I'm saying? You could argue that Shaq didn't have not Shaq, Charles Barkley didn't have a Kobe. That's why he didn't win. Okay, that's fine and Danny. But Shaq is supposed to be the most dominant player in the NBA. But let's keep it a buck. Also, he couldn't win unless he had Kobe. He couldn't win with the other players that he had around him, which some of them it might have been enough. It might have been enough to get him through it. But let's bring out Kobe. God rest his dead. Kobe used to always get on Shaq's back about him not being in proper shape. If Shaq was in proper shape, then he would give him the ball. Then he would give him the respect and stuff like that. But Shaq never wanted to be in shape. So these are two basic losers here. We're talking about Shaq and Charles Barkley, two losers trying to play Kendrick Perkins years after these guys done retired. And when diss a guy, it could be joking, but still it doesn't look good. You're talking badly about a dude based on his basketball taste just because he only averaged 5 points in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. So I mean, we get the same thing in our realm of space. You're talking about Twitter space, talking about Instagram and stuff like that. Guys be like, yo, man, get your followers up before you start talking to me. Shout out to State. State always says random Abbeys. That's his thing. You know what I'm saying? That they're not allowed to speak because then they're just they don't have their page set up properly. You know what I'm saying? But anybody could come out with a basketball team. If you watch basketball, if you love basketball, anybody could come out with something to talk about the game. You don't need to be a NBA basketball player. And these guys prove it every single night that they really don't know what the fuck they're talking about. To tell you that plainly, they don't know what they're talking about. Yet and still, they play years in the NBA and they've been broadcasting for over 20 years. These guys. And they still come out night in and night out and are misinformed. They don't watch the games. They have high opinions about all these different players, but they never seen any of them play. Shaq has admitted it so many times on the telecast that he didn't watch certain players play. I never seen him play. I didn't know he was like that. Charles Barkley legit is just out there like what's his name Donald Trump out there. It's like, oh well, like he just literally is just like, I don't know, he's just making it up as he goes along kind of thing. And God bless Ernie, because Ernie is the anchor. Ernie's sitting there, and he's just like kind of like a fan of these guys. I think it's to the point now where Ernie is really like the leader of these guys. He's the one that has to kind of like put the branch between what's real and what isn't. Shout out to Kenny Smith too. Kenny Smith acts like that he used to be like this big all-star player, and he wasn't. He played a little bit. He was Kennedy Jet Smith for like a few years, and then he had bad knees, and then he went to Houston on the downside of his career and was able to win 2 championships. But shout out to Kenny Smith. Kenny Smith was that 5-point game player. He was that not even option. He was just that extra guy that they had that could hit the 3 on the perimeter. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't play defense anymore, but he could hit the 3. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing that Kenny Smith was bringing at the time at the end of his career. You know what I'm saying? But Kenny Smith was that guy. So to segue into the next point I want to make about this is that what does it say to like kids coming up about the game, the respect for the game, when your elders are on national TV dissing guys that you only have 5 points, what you gonna say to me, whatever. But meanwhile, a lot of these guys that they hire these trainers, they're hiring trainers that used to average 5 points per game in high school. Used to average 5 points per game in college, and now they become these big time coaches, and they got nice after they graduated school because all they do is coach. So through coaching, they got better. So they're better as a coach than they were as a player, and this is where they get their instruction from. You know what I'm saying? But yet and still, the kids get the mentality from our elders here. The dissing guys that are much needed basketball players in order to win a championship. If you look at Michael Jordan's career, Michael Jordan won 6 championships not because he had Jordan and Scottie Pippen. It's because he had the Steve Kerrs of the world. You know what I'm saying? He had the Paxsons of the world, the Bill Wenningtons, the Will Purdue's, all those bum guys at the bottom of the bench. Those are the guys that help win those championships. The guys that help to get the defensive stops, the loose balls. You know what I'm saying? Just to be the extra foul out there to help you get through games. You know what I'm saying? If Michael Jordan had the ball, pass the ball, the other guys were able to move the ball to the next person to be available, run the triangle, do their job. You need guys to do that in order for the superstars to do what they do. Now, if you could bring it back to the Knicks for a second, Brunson, you can say what you want to say about him, but for us, diehard Knicks fans, we watch these games night in and night out. Um, this guy Brunson, he gets 30 points like it's nothing. It's not. It doesn't even shock us when he gets 30 points now. It's to the point now where if Brunson gets 40, that we don't even notice that he gets 40. He just goes out there and does what he does. 40 is nothing for us at this point. You know what I'm saying? But the Knicks don't win without the other guys doing what they do. The Josh Hart's diving for loose balls, getting the weak side rebounds, pushing up the pace and stuff like that. We don't win unless DiVincenzo could get those corner threes, those elbow threes. Deuce McBride also, we don't win if he's not getting those elbow threes. Bogey, we don't win these games unless Bogey gets nine to like 13 points per game off the bench. There's so many different things. We don't win unless Hartenstein is passing the ball, rebounding defense, doing the same thing, diving for loose balls, this type of stuff. We don't win these games without these guys. I can argue that Hartenstein and Josh Hart are two of the most important players that we absolutely cannot win with, even with Brunson. Shout out to OG. OG is a great defender, but he's also a great ball mover, a great person to cut to the basket. DiVincenzo is one of those guys. Deuce is one of these guys. Hartenstein is one of these guys. All of our players do a great job playing their role within the offense that the Knicks are running, and they be able to move the ball. And it starts with Brunson, yes, but a lot of times Brunson is not just standing there dribbling between his legs, waiting for a shot to go in. A lot of times he'll make a move, pass it, the ball will go around. Sometimes it comes back to Brunson, and then Brunson is able to finish the play. But the play is not just isolate Brunson, let him do what he does. You know, so it's just weird. I'll continue to rant and stuff like that. But shout out to Michael K. I just want to show Michael K that I blocked him. I blocked him immediately on this channel because for reasons having to do with really with the Colin Kaepernick stuff, because he called Colin Kaepernick a punk and all this. He went on a rant and stuff, and I just feel like people like this need to be checked. You know what I'm saying? Because he thinks he's from New York. He is from New York. He's from the Bronx. He thinks he has like a New York car where he could say and do what he wants to do, but he really is totally out of touch with just people that look like me. If you want to keep it a buck, you know what I'm saying. So I just want to put that out there. And this guy Michael K is one of the reasons why that I do these podcasts and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying. If I get a chance to meet him, I definitely would tell this to his face. You know what I'm saying. But without let's just keep it moving here. I'm just showing you that because is referencing Michael K's podcast. Kendrick Perkins was visiting there, and they asked him about what do they think about the TNT people, whatever. And then he said that it's obvious that they don't watch basketball, and it's true. Based over everything that I said, these guys, Shaq and Charles Barkley and Kenny, these guys don't watch basketball. They're not watching basketball. They don't watch. They're not even watching, their favorite teams, Houston and stuff like that. Houston, Kenny Smith went to Houston. Charles Barkley went to Philly. Went to Phoenix. They're not even watching their home teams that they came from. Orlando Magic for Shaq and the Lakers. They're not even following the teams that they play for. Which is weird. You look at other stars, say like Marbury. Marbury is in China now. He's a diehard Knicks fan, yo. Shout out to John Starks. John Starks works for the Knicks, but John Starks is up there leading the cheers with the fans in the crowd. Saying like a fan. He's a fan of the team. They love the team. So these guys don't even love the teams that they played for at once upon a time. So I just don't think it's right. These guys need to be checked. And for the main thing here, just for people that do podcasts like myself, I just putting the content out there. Your favorite channels, man, support them. Support them. Don't get into the rah rah because the reason why we left these guys alone, these mainstream people, the reason why we don't watch them anymore, the diehard fans, is because they're putting a lot of propaganda out there. They're saying a lot of rah rah stuff, and then they're not really covering the team the way that they should. You know what I'm saying? So now we have our favorites here in our space in the internet space, the real true podcast space now, content creating space, and now we're sensationalizing, our guys now. So I think that's very important too, man. We have to be careful with what we do here as far as our energies and who we and how we glorify guys. We put guys on pedestals and we make guys into superstars, and then we forget about the basketball stuff again. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just want to point that out. So just leading into the Miami Heat versus Philly game here. So later on tonight, in about 15 minutes, I'm gonna actually do a watch along podcast with Tony Crow of the Knicks and Bruises. We're gonna do a simultaneous podcast, doing a watch along for this particular game. So what's the team that we want to play with, right? So I mean, as far as Knicks fans could really care less. They kind of want Miami because Miami will be revenge from last year. But Miami's a different team than they were last year. Knicks fans got to be very careful. As far as Philly, Philly has Embiid, the former MVP. But I think neither team. I think Knicks fans are not afraid of either team because I believe that we have the system in place and the effort in place to defend these teams. And then offensively, these guys have to be able to run with us, guard the three, guard Brunson, and stuff like that. And then they're gonna have to outwork us. And we're the hardest working team in the NBA. I gotta say, you know what I'm saying. So that's basically what I'm looking at here. But as far as Barkley, Shaq, and Kenny Smith, they're immediately looking at these guys that they're putting the players up there like Marvel characters, like Embiid. Oh, Embiid is MVP and this and the other. You know, say he's the best player on the team, best player on the court. All that stuff. That's all Marvel Comics bullshit. You want to talk about Jimmy Buckets, whatever they say about Jimmy. He has another nickname that they like to use, playoff Jimmy or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like they make him into some kind of superhero or something like that. But the thing is, Jimmy Butler and Embiid don't win without the rest of their players. You know what I'm saying? And if the other guys don't get off, and I'm not talking about their second tier scorers. I'm not talking about the second tier all stars that they have on these squads. I'm talking about the other guys, the other guys that average 5 points per game, the ones that are standing in the corner waiting for the threes that the superstars are going to pass to them after we stop them. They're going to have to rely on those guys to win the game. So who's going to win this game tonight? I think it's going to be a dogfight. Once again, tune in to the next pod. It should be going on 7 o'clock on the dot there with Knicks and Bruises, Tony Crow. Me and Tony Crow are going to do a simultaneous podcast. So tune into this channel again for that watch along of the Miami Heat and Philly, and we'll talk about it throughout the game and stuff. But it's not going to come down to what superstar is better than the next superstar. That's not how it works. The moral of this whole podcast is basketball is a team sport. Basketball is a team sport. One team against the next team. That is not the Jimmy Butler versus Embiid. You know what I'm saying? It's Philly versus Miami. The winner between that got to play the New York Knicks, not Jalen Brunson, the best player on our team. They got to play our whole team. The scheme, defense, effort, everything. They got to play against our crowd, MSG, all of that. They got to bring all of that to the table. That's the moral of this podcast. So kids that watch the game, my message to you is watch the Knicks. Watch the Knicks. Don't listen to these TNT guys, Charles Barkley, all these guys, Michael K, all these assholes. Don't listen to them. Find somebody that loves the team. Find somebody that loves the team, that follows your team, covers your team, watches every single game, knows what's going on, knows just as much as you do. You know what I'm saying? You can confide in them that these guys are watching the games, and then now you can hear the Knicks shit that you want to hear. You know what I'm saying? You want to hear about the game. Even if you think the Knicks are going to lose, you want to hear from a source where somebody is informed, somebody that cares and loves about the team. You know what I'm saying? Loves basketball. You know what I'm saying? I love basketball. And it's going to come down to who's the best team, now who's the best player. And I think I'm praying that the Knicks prove it to these guys in these playoffs, take care of business, and actually get to where we think they can get to. A lot of people think Eastern Conference Finals. I don't put doors on endings. You always got to go behind. I believe the Knicks can win a championship, and then next year you look about winning again. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at with it. So I can never put a door on how far my team can go. You know what I'm saying? Like, or I'm okay now. We made it here, so it's a success. Success is relative to whatever. But as children, you pray for your favorite team to win. You pray for your favorite player to be successful, and this, that, and the other. Now, as we're adults, the same feeling. Like Knicks fans are like children right now. Like it's like we're little kids again. Like we have the potential for our team to get to where it needs to go. It is not because of Jalen Brunson. It's not only because of him. It's because of the entire team and the way that our Knicks are playing. And the Knicks are not afraid of Brunson. I mean, excuse me, Philadelphia's not afraid of Brunson. Miami, he's not afraid of Brunson. They're afraid of the entire team. They're afraid of the defense. They're afraid of getting locked up by our New York Knicks. So that's my message here to you guys here. So I'm gonna close it down and check you guys in a few more minutes. We will do a watch along with me and Tony Crow for the Miami Heat Philadelphia game. It's going to be an extensive, basic scouting kind of watch along for those two teams, to prepare us for the next round and stuff. So anyway, definitely appreciate you guys for tuning in. Sorry for the little mix up in the beginning there. Got a little frustrated because the damn I kept clicking the wrong thing, to tell you the truth, and the same thing kept popping up, so it kind of messed up my screen. I xed out the thing that I actually wanted to show you, but it doesn't matter. I got my bars off. Definitely appreciate you guys. Please keep tuning in to the Dynamics podcast. A lot of podcasts today. That's not the only pod I'm doing. I'm actually also doing another podcast at 10:30 with Morning Brew Sports. Phil and Gardner Nix is going to be there, and also 98. No, excuse me. 98 Bully from Twitter. If I'm sorry if I massacred his name, but we're going to be on YouTube also doing a podcast at 10:30 tonight. So yeah, man, this is what we do here, Dynamics. Putting on content for the people, and I think I also might be doing a Front Stew podcast at 9, bro. So we'll see what happens. It's a very busy night. But this your boy Eru. I'm up out of here. 4 fingers to the forehead, tucking the thumb. Salute. And I'll see you guys later, man. Peace. Let me get the let's do the quick outro.